Hey everybody, Raven Knight here. So, I know I'm a little late to the party on this, but it turns out For Honor may have finally given us a hint as to the new hero coming to the game later this month. And so I want to take a minute here to talk about that hint and what we can take from it. So, without any further ado, let's get into it. If you head over to the Dominion map Qiang Pass and make your way to Zone A, head on over, take a look at that fallen bell. You'll notice something new is there. Sticking out from a large crack is a strange polearm that's buried in the metal. Now, upon closer inspection of this weapon, it shows that it has metal prongs on either side on the portion that is buried in, as well as a weighted pointed pommel at the bottom. Now, this may seem like a simple ornament to the map, but if you know what kind of weapon this is, you know that this is significant. This weapon is a Fangtian Huaji, or Square Heavenly Halberd. This is considered the most popular and recognized halberd or spear in Chinese history and folklore. The weapon is a long polearm that appears like a spear but with one or two side crescent blades on each side of it. An exceptionally versatile weapon that combines a chopping and slicing power of an axe or blade with the puncturing power of a spear. While most famously used during the Song Dynasty, the G-type weapons were used throughout various eras in Chinese history. However, there is one hero we know of who was famous for the use of this weapon: Lu Bu, one of the quintessential warriors during the later era of the Han Dynasty, and who helped lead to the rise of the Three Kingdoms period. Yeah, many people have been begging for Lu Bu, and it looks like y'all might finally be getting him. I'm not upset by this by any means. Lu Bu is a great reference for this game, and well worth the hero that we will get. I really do think that is a great idea, and it's going to be awesome. Yes, I know I've been begging for a Xi'an hero, but who knows, maybe something in the future. Now, of course, I will do a Heroes in History on whoever the new hero turns out to be, so if it does turn out to be Lu Bu, as we suspect, I will be going into far more detail in that video, but for now, I will give a brief overview. Many of you are already probably very familiar with the figure of Lu Bu. Born in Jiyuan, which is today in Baotou, one of the northernmost regions of China, Lu Bu began his military career under the Bing Inspector Ding Yuan. As the Han Dynasty began to fall, however, Lu Bu joined his commanding officer and his forces in an attempt to defeat the eunuchs who were taking control of the government. However, when the plan to defeat them initially failed, the warlord Dong Zhuo saw an opportunity to take down Ding Yuan and claim his troops for his own, including Lu Bu. He managed to convince and manipulate Lu Bu into betraying Ding Yuan and defecting to his service. Under Dong Zhuo, Lu Bu would gain infamy, station, and status, eventually rising to the position of General of the Household Cavalry and being given the Marquis of Duting. He would get many other major statuses and stations over the course of his career, but that is what he started with under Dong Zhuo. Nicknamed the Flying General, Lu Bu was famous for his strength in battle and his exceptional skills as a warrior, but he was also famous for being a bit unstable, distrusting, and having a penchant for treachery. He was regarded as a tiger at times and was infamous for his dueling skills. His weapon, called Sky Piercer, is said to have slain several top warriors in single combat, and just as famous as the man himself was his legendary horse known as Red Hair. In pop culture and entertainment media, he is nothing short of legendary. As Sabaton's song refers to him, he is a tiger among dragons. And by the way, if you haven't heard that song, go listen to it. It's one of my favorites from their new album, Legends. Listen to that song. It is top tier. However, all that being said, it should be noted that much of his fame and infamy is developed from the largely fictional book The Romance of the Three Kingdoms, which often blends historical truth with fantastical fiction. For example, one of Lu Bu's most famous engagements in the novel was his series of duels at Qiang Pass, where he bested various generals and warriors in single combat, only being forced to flee when forced to fight Guan Yu, Zhang Fei, and Liu Bei all at once. Sounds cool, really awesome to read. However, there is no historical record of a Qiang Pass battle during this period. Further, Lu Bu is also known for losing several of his battles, largely because he was difficult to work with and was not as gifted a leader as he was a fighter. To quote Chen Shou, who wrote the Sangguo Ji, Lu Bu possessed the might of a tiger, but he lacked the planning skills of a talented person. He was frivolous and temperamental and was only concerned about the gains he could make. Throughout history, there have never been such persons like him who did not end up being destroyed. Further, he would go on to say, although Lu Bu was a valiant and powerful warrior, he lacked wisdom and was constantly suspicious of others. He was unable to control his subordinates even though he trusted them. His men had their personal motives and were very disunited, which was why he kept losing battles. In fact, Lu Bu's whole military career is a sequence of resentments, betrayals, and paranoia shared between him and those he allied with. As a matter of fact, I'm in the process of reading through the entire Sangguozhi right now in preparation for this new hero, especially if they are based on Lu Bu, but just in case they aren't, it'll still help with understanding that era of history better, which is never a bad thing. And I do want to preface, despite what I just said, I don't hate Lu Bu. Some people have gotten the impression that I do, because I've said in a few videos that I prefer a Qiang hero over Lu Bu, but I don't mind Lu Bu. I'm fine with Lu Bu. I think he's a very interesting figure in Chinese history. The reason I'm hesitant is because The Romance of the Three Kingdoms, while an awesome book, does embellish a lot of things, and I want to look more to the real history. So if Lu Bu is indeed the inspirational figure that creates the new hero, when I do the Heroes in History, expect me to talk about the good and the bad of the figure, because there is plenty of both. And that's all I'm going to say for now. I have a lot more reading and research to do before I can make my final video. Plus, we need to 100% confirm that the new hero is based on Lu Bu, which, based on the hint we have here, it's a pretty safe bet. I think we can pretty much safely assume Lu Bu is going to be the big inspiration for this. But either way, I wanted to address this little reveal because so many others have, and I wanted to give my 2 cents on it. So thank you all for taking the time to watch this. Again, I know I'm late to the party, but I had a lot to deal with throughout the day today, and I did not have time to really sit down and look over this and really read over it. Plus, I only just got access to the Sangguozhi, so I've only just started reading it, and I'm about a fourth of the way through, I think. So I've got a long way to go. Plus, I'm having to skip to certain parts of it that have to deal with Lu Bu and other characters that he would have interacted with. So yeah, it's just a lot that I'm having to go through. But I promise, when the new hero comes out and we know for sure, I'll get into researching and give you the best content that I possibly can. Trust me, guys, I want to give you the best. All right, thank you all so much. Love you guys. See you in my next video. Take care.